I am a big fan of reality TV competition shows, and throughout the year of 2025, I watched a lot of different seasons of reality TV competition. And so today, I am going to be officially ranking every single season of these types of shows that I personally watched in the year 2025 to determine what I think was the best season of the year. I will be ranking 12 different seasons in this video, and I'm going to list right here all of the seasons of TV that are going to be featured in this video. So if you don't want to know anything about these seasons at all, you don't even want to know whether I liked it or disliked it, this is your warning that these will be featured in some way. In each section, I will have a first segment where I will talk completely spoiler-free, just my general opinion on this season and whether or not I'd recommend it and why you might like it or might not like it if you haven't watched any of these seasons. And then I will give a spoiler talk on each season after that, just talking about my true feelings on the actual details of the season. In the description down below, there will be timestamps, and on the little bar below me, you can check to see where all of those segments are ranking from 12 to 1. So you can jump around and skip segments. If you haven't seen the show, you don't want to know anything about it, you can skip ahead and all of those timestamps. Now, this is just all my opinion, okay? It's all just based on how much I enjoyed the show and what shows I watched. So if a show that you really liked isn't on this list, I just haven't gone around to it. I just didn't watch it. And if a show you really liked is low on the list, I'm sorry. I don't really hate any of these shows. Usually I don't watch shows that I don't think I'm gonna like in some way. I really choose the shows I watch because I think I'm gonna like them. These 12 seasons, I will be talking about them from 12 to 1. Here we go. Coming in at number 12, I have the Traitors UK Season 3. Now, I don't think this is a bad season of the Traitors. It's not even the worst season of the Traitors I've seen, really by any stretch. I think there are definitely some good elements to this season that I enjoyed. I think that overall, there were some twists in this season that I really liked, and some twists that I didn't like so much. I also think that because the UK and the US roughly follow the same format and things that they do between the two seasons, I think some of the best moments of the UK season kind of got overshadowed in memory by the US season doing the same types of things, but maybe a little bit better, or at least a little bit more memorably, to the extent that this season just kind of felt a little bit unmemorable to me. It's not bad, and there are some really great characters on this season, but it just didn't make a huge impact on me personally. It's not my favorite boot order of what was possible, but overall, I think it's pretty good. If you do like the Traitors format, I think you might really like this season, but compared to the other shows I watched this year, it just didn't really feel like a season that was going to stick with me as much. Now, as for spoiler talk for the Traitors UK 3, I definitely have mixed feelings on it. I really loved Mina. I was really rooting for her to win. I was very sad when she eventually got voted out. We also lost a lot of other really likable traitors along the way, like Armani and Linda, that I was very sad to see them go out as early as they did. As for the actual ending of it, it really is not my favorite ending. I feel like a lot of Traitors seasons end in like really crazy, spectacular ways, whereas this season kind of limped to a sad end. I felt like the Seer twist kind of just effed over two people in a kind of sad way. And then we also lose Alexander at the final fire, who was probably my favorite faithful on the season. So that was pretty disappointing. I don't think that Jake and Leanne, the winners of the season, were bad. I think they did a very good job at the game, at least. But they weren't like the most exciting people for me to watch win. It just felt like a lot of people kind of took each other out, and they kind of were who remained at the end. I actually think they're probably some of the better faithful winners across Traitors seasons, at least in terms of gameplay. But in terms of excitement of the season, it really was not what I was rooting for. We'd also lost a lot of people earlier on that I was very sad to lose, such as Jack, who was screwed over by the cage twist. I was very sad to see him go out so soon. I really loved all three of the people in the cages, so to lose any of them at that time was very disappointing to me. I also really liked Ellen and a lot of different people that I felt like went out too soon in this season. There were some good people that made it far in the season as well, but overall, I didn't love that flow. I did love the death table, the card death table thing that they did where they had to flip over the cards in the death game. I thought that was super fun. That was a twist I don't believe happened in the US season. I think that was definitely a big benefit that the UK season had that the US season did not have. But other than that, I feel like some of the twists weren't as good. I feel like, some of the moments, like I feel like the dollhouse moment was great in the UK, but then kind of got overshadowed a little bit by the US version of the dollhouse. So it's not a bad season, but it wasn't my favorite ending, and it just felt like it's not going to be all that significant to me in the future. Next, spoiler-free talk on number 11 on the list is The Amazing Race 38, Big Brother Edition, European Adventure. It goes by many names. Now, I have not watched Amazing Race 37 yet. I have to get around to it on my Amazing Race binge, but I did jump to 38 to watch the Big Brother contestants. And I will say about this season that if you are a Big Brother fan and you have watched the people on this season on their other shows, or you at least are somewhat familiar with what happens on their seasons, then this is an interesting season. There is some interesting Big Brother dynamics going on by getting to see all these people put on this other show from this other show. However, if you're an Amazing Race fan or you don't really care about any of that Big Brother stuff, this is not the best season of The Amazing Race. It's a little bit straightforward. The route is not super interesting. It's all in Europe, so they don't really go a whole lot of places. There's really not a whole lot of crazy events or shakeups that make things nutso like some seasons of Amazing Race has. Overall, I don't think this season is terrible, and I do think if you want to see some interesting dynamics from people that have played games together before, then that is fascinating. Even if you don't know the context, I think you can kind of pick up some of the context and enjoy it anyways. But if you're looking for an exciting reality TV experience, this is not the season that has the most twists and turns of the year. It's not terrible. Again, I enjoyed it to an extent, but as far as Amazing Race goes, it is definitely not the best season. I also think that there's a little bit of a kind of interesting dynamic going on with this season where half of each member of the team is a contestant from Big Brother, that they know each other, they have fan bases and whatnot, and then the other person is completely new to this. They're a loved one of the Big Brother contestant, and it adds a bit of an odd power dynamic where a lot of the loved ones kind of get overshadowed a little bit by their reality TV star, loved one. But there are definitely some loved ones that do shine through and are really great, but it definitely makes the teams just feel a little bit different than they would on a normal season of Amazing Race, that if you're an Amazing Race fan might just rub you a little bit differently. Now, as for spoiler talks for The Amazing Race 38, I definitely had some stuff that I really enjoyed here. I adored watching Izzy and Paige. I thought they were super fun. I really, really loved Joseph and Adam as well. I thought they were great. I loved seeing Tucker succeed and get all those first places. Honestly, I thought that was pretty fun. When he was going to get the ice cream, Tucker and Eric, that was pretty fun. But overall, the boot order wasn't great. I'm not a big Jag and Jazz fan. They were probably my least favorite team on the season, honestly. I bottom two probably, and it's not anything against them. They seem like really nice guys, and I would love hanging out with them. But in terms of watching them on the show, I feel like similarly to Big Brother, and even more so on this season, watching Jag succeed, it just feels like he's too good at everything. It's like you're in high school and you're watching the guy get everything he wants. He beats you in everything. He's captain of the football team. He's MVP of the chess club. He's valedictorian. He's the student body president. And he just gets everything he wants, and it just comes so it comes so easy to him. Like, it's not that he's not trying. He's just like so effortlessly good at it and gets everything he wants. And it's like, that's just not that fun to watch. Like, I'm rooting either for like the underdog to win in some regard. Like, even, I mean, spoilers for Tucker on Big Brother if you haven't watched his season, but you know, he was like a pre-jury flop. Like, even though Tucker and Eric dominated a lot of the game in the first half in Amazing Race, like, they still have a little bit of like an underdog dynamic. And obviously you have like Joseph and Izzy and these other people that clearly have more of an underdog dynamic. Whereas Jag and Jazz, they've already won $1 million on, well, not $1 million, it's $750,000 on another show. And now here they are winning again. It just feels like it's just not that fun. Like, there's not really all that much excitement to it. They're not like the most charismatic, like, effervescent personalities on TV. They're not bad guys, and I mean, I do think that there was some, like, a little bit of satisfaction maybe to seeing them win because they definitely did deserve it, but overall, it just was not my favorite ending to the season. It was so obvious the whole time. As soon as I saw Jag and Jazz on the cast, I was like, well, they're clearly going to win. You know, how is anyone ever going to stop them? And no one ever did. Like, it was a complete and utter blowout the entire season long. You know, kudos to Tucker and Eric for adding a little bit of, you know, competitiveness in the middle there. But once they're gone, it's pretty much over. Yeah. And so, I mean, it's not terrible. I loved seeing the dynamic between Izzy and Jag. I loved seeing the dynamic between Joseph and Taylor. I thought that was super fun. But the actual excitement of the season, it felt like the order was pretty clear what was happening the whole time. Pretty much who you expected to go out the next episode is who went out almost every single episode. And the only time anything ever really switched up that much were because of twists, when like Taylor and Kyland got brought to the front of the pack because of an express pass, and Tucker and Eric were brought to the back of the pack because of a U-turn. Otherwise, everyone kind of stayed in their lane most of the time. So it's not, again, not the worst season of anything ever, but not the most exciting. Now, number 10 on the list, spoiler-free discussion, is Survivor 49. This season I have mixed feelings on. I obviously covered this season on my channel. You can go watch all of my edit analysis content of that if you like. But I think that this season, I think there was stuff that I liked about it. And I do think it has aged a little bit better than I felt at the time. And I think it could continue to age well. But at the time of this season airing, I just felt like there was just a disconnect from the excitement of the season. It felt like the edit was kind of obvious. It felt like every week it was clearly setting up what would happen the next episode, and then that exact thing is what happened. A lot of the votes were kind of clear on what was going to happen based on the flow of the episode. The pre-merge I thought was really weak. There was really not a lot of surprises there. The merge had some better stuff, but not so much. I think it completely lifts up the pre-merge. I definitely liked like the ending of it all, and I thought it wrapped up really nicely. And the overall like story of the season, I think, is pretty good. But the actual like week to week watching it was kind of a slog in a way that I think that Survivor hasn't been in quite a few seasons at this point. So it's not the worst season ever, but it definitely, in terms of if you're watching it on a binge, I think you would like it a lot more than watching it week to week, I suppose. For a spoiler talk on Survivor 49, listen, I've talked extensively about this season. I love the winner, love Savannah. I think she's fantastic. I'm so glad that she won the season. Well deserved in my opinion. Really one of my favorite winners in a while. Maybe not in a while, but like one of my favorite eras, winners of the new era. I feel like, some of the recent seasons, it's kind of been like, I haven't been that thrilled by how they've ended of Survivor. So really happy to see who I was rooting for to win. I also really loved Sophie as well. I think there was a fantastic final two. Really, really enjoyable with that. I think that the Trace Leche Alliance was super fun and enjoyable. I really liked them. And their overall story on the season is pretty good. But as I said, the week to week was pretty mundane. I mean, like the Nate vote was maybe a little shocking, but while the votes were being read, I definitely expected it to be Nate. I think the Jawan vote was probably the one time I was really, really surprised in the merge, but otherwise, like, I thought the Sophie boot was really bad. What a really run-of-the-mill boring episode. The Steven vote wasn't that surprising, and it was going to be either, him or, it was between two people, it was him or Rizzo, I said at the time. So a lot of the boots, like, I don't know, it just felt like there wasn't that much engagement week to week. Although I loved analyzing it, I loved engaging with the community on the season. And again, I do think like the stars of the season really were stars, and I'm super excited to see them on Survivor 50, especially, those being Rizzo and Savannah. I think it's going to be super fun, but not my favorite season of Survivor. Coming in at number 9 is Survivor 48, right after Survivor 49. I think that these seasons, they're very close for me. I've always thought Survivor 48 edges out Survivor 49 by a little bit. I go up and down on that, but I do still, at least for now, feel that way. I think that Survivor 48, I know a lot of people, it wasn't their cup of tea, but I do think that there was a lot of interesting stuff to enjoy with this season. Yes, there were some mundane votes, but there were also some really, really exciting votes. I think people forget there were some really great parts of this season. I think the pre-merge was really, really pretty good for a new era Survivor season, especially. There were some really exciting stuff. There was some really fun, like heartfelt moments in this season that felt very personal and interesting to connect to over the course of it and watch a lot of these relationships develop. I really enjoyed that. So it's not like the best season of Survivor by any stretch. Obviously, it's, not ranking super high in my list of the year, but there were things that I enjoyed in this season, and I enjoyed kind of picking apart. I also think if you are watching it not knowing anything that happens, it's not actually that predictable. There are some predictable votes, but trying to predict who wins this season, not knowing who wins this season, for me, was really exciting because there was a lot of really strong options that constantly kept ping-ponging back and forth. So I think that there is some stuff to enjoy in this season. Is it a little bit cringe? Is it a little bit, not great vibes at times? Maybe, but I do think there's some really fun stuff, and it brings a really refreshing and unique dynamic to Survivor that I don't think any other new era has, or any season has really had in quite a while of Survivor. It's a very old school feeling season. So if you want a little bit of like that taste of like old school Survivor in the new era, I think this is a good season for you. Now, as for spoiler talk, again, I talked extensively about the season. You could go check out my Survivor 48 Edgic for the season if you want to watch that and you haven't yet. But I think the ending, not my favorite. I don't hate Kyle. In fact, as time has gone on, I've grown to appreciate Kyle's win. I think that he was pretty good, and I think he's a likable guy. But Joe and Eva were like my people. I was so rooting for them. And I know not everyone agrees with that, but I was. I was rooting for them the whole time. They were my draft team. I really adored Joe. I thought he just seemed like such a genuinely kind-hearted person, and was just a breath of fresh air for me in the new era of Survivor, playing in just a different way than a lot of people in the new era play. And I feel like that is fun to see on Survivor, something a little bit different. So I really enjoyed that. I thought there were a lot of characters I did really enjoy on this season. I really liked Shaheen and David and Say, and Camilla. There's a lot of good people I think to enjoy here. I said the pre-merge I think is really good. That Justin Boot tribal is crazy, really awesome tribal, one of the best of the new era. I think you also have the David blindside, which was pretty crazy and unexpected at the time. So that was really fun. Obviously the Joe and Eva moment, I personally felt very touched by that moment. I really liked it. I thought it was a great moment. Was it a little overblown? Maybe. I can understand why some people roll their eyes at it, but I do think there was some really fun, heartfelt moments this season, and there was just a soul to it that was really unique. It's not my favorite season of the year. There were some stuff that, weren't my favorites, especially the ending. But overall, there was some good stuff to enjoy, and I think it's an underrated season of the year. Coming in at number 8 is kind of like a little oddball in the mix here that maybe not a lot of people have seen. It is Destination X Season 1. I have talked to a lot of people, a lot of my friends and whatnot. Nobody's heard of this show. I haven't found anybody that's watched this show in any of my circles. But I don't know. I don't know why I tuned in, but I tuned in and I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. I definitely think that there were a little bit of struggles being the first season of the show. You can tell that it's kind of the first season. I think a lot of first seasons kind of act as like pilots to the show in some way. It's a proof of concept. And it definitely had its flaws. But overall, I think it was a really enjoyable format. I think it was a really good cast, honestly, like really strong cast. I really enjoyed almost everybody on this cast in one way or another. So that was really fun to watch. I think the ending is fantastic. It's got some really great stories and alliances over the course of this season. So if you stick with it, you're really going to get some really satisfying payoffs here. It's not like the craziest thing. There's not like insane twists and insane like people screwing people over and whatever. If you want like maybe a vibe that's just a little bit more chill and relaxed, there's a little bit of drama, but like nothing real. Like it's kind of just like pitter patter. The format of the show doesn't really provoke a lot of like backstabbing and whatnot. So if you want a little bit of it, it is there, but it's not like too prevalent. It's kind of just a fun show to like sit back, eat some popcorn too, and just have a good time with some really likable characters and a really fantastic host in a new format that you've never seen before. So I liked it. Now, spoiler talk for Destination X. Spoilers. You haven't watched it. I know a lot of people haven't. So spoilers for Destination X. Love the winner. Love the winner, Rick. So deserved. He was so great. I thought he was so much fun. Really, really deserved winner for this season. There's really probably no one on the season I would have rather seen win than him. He was so great. There were some other really standout characters, Biggie and Mac being the other two big ones that I really, really enjoyed on the season. Those are all people I would love to see on another show or another season of Destination X, or wherever I may be able to see them again. I would love to see them pop up, really stars on this show. I also really enjoyed getting to watch Peter and Janae and Josh in their stints on the season, however short they may have been. That was a cool part of the season. I loved watching Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I'm a big fan of his from some of his other projects. So, I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about the show overall, I think, but I think just Rick's story was so much fun. The up and down journey that he went on, where like he gets called out right at the beginning as like a snake and everyone thinks he's evil when he's just like some like nice Canadian guy, and him like teaming up with Peter and Janae to kind of somehow take people out and get to the end and win it all. It was so satisfying. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say about Destination X. I highly recommend it. It's not like the best thing ever, but I really enjoyed it. If you have watched it or you haven't, go tell your friends to watch Destination X. I would love to see this show continue to thrive and prosper. It's a good show. Coming in at number 7, we have The Traitors Canada Season 3. I think that this was a pretty good season of The Traitors Canada. Maybe my favorite season of The Traitors Canada. It's not the best season of The Traitors. I do think there are some flaws here and there. I think there are aspects of the boot order that I don't love. But the actual people that make it like to the end game, I think are all pretty strong characters. So although there's some rough patches here and there, I am pretty satisfied with the overall flow of the season. And I think there were some really fun twists. Traitors Canada, I think, is some of the most innovative and exciting and just well executed twists of any version of the Traitors, and really any show out there right now. there really weren't any misses. There maybe like a twist that happened pretty early in this season I wasn't a huge fan of, but otherwise they definitely had a few just things sprinkled here and there that was super fun and exciting, that keeps the format fresh and popping in a really fun way. You get some really great reality TV alumni on this season, and you get some really great stories and experiences out of them on the show. So if you're a fan of any of those people, I definitely recommend checking it out because you get some really great stuff from them. And you also get to meet some really fun new characters on the show as well from the newbie side that I also really enjoyed. It's not like maybe the craziest, most intense season of the Traitors out there, but it's just an overall flow with a good narrative arc, a few good narrative arcs, and just some solid stuff here from the Traitors Canada. For spoiler talk for the Traitors Canada Season 3, I love the ending. I loved the Dom and Hollywood win. I thought it was super well deserved. Was not that surprised by the Hollywood win, but I was very happy to see it happen. I think it was very well deserved for him. Dom was my winner pick from episode 1 as well, so that was fun to get to see him win. I think that was a fun duo to pull it out. But I think it was a pretty good ending either way, because it was going to be them or somehow maybe Coco could have pulled it off. And I think that Coco had such a fun story on the season, really enjoyable, where she gets called out right at the beginning of the season and you think that she is a goner and then somehow makes it to the end anyways and almost clinches the win. That was really incredible. I think that both Coco and Lizette make some really key mistakes in the finale of the season, that they really both had opportunities to win, but really just messed it up right at the end, which is unfortunate for them, but does create an exciting finale and a very well-deserved win for Dom and Hollywood. I loved a lot of the Traitors on the season, loved Venus. Listen, I love Venus. I'm a Venus stan, okay? I thought she was magnificent on the season. I wish she went a little bit further, but I think she made it pretty good ways. We got a lot of great Venus content in this season. Can't complain too much. I think she was in all but 1 or 2 episodes, which is pretty good. I was very sad to lose Kevin and Omer so quickly, and Ty. I'm not familiar with Ty, but I was sad that he was gone so soon. But I do think that Kevin and Omer definitely brought a lot to the show, even though they weren't there super long. A lot of explosive stuff there. I really loved the Chala and Meredith dynamic. I thought it was probably one of the better payoffs, I guess, of this hidden relationship dynamic, where they were so close to this plan they curated on how to win this season, and they just fell short right at the end. Really enjoyed Chala. I thought that they were a great character in the season, one of my favorites as well. So the boot order's not perfect, but overall, I think that the people in the finale were all very entertaining in their own way, and I think the season was pretty good. Not crazy good, but pretty good. Coming in at number 6 is the Traitors US Season 3. Wow, shocker, I know. Maybe some people are surprised it's this low. Trust me, there are 5 seasons that I think are better than this. I think the Traitors US Season 3, it's good. It is good. It's not my favorite season of the Traitors US. I still probably prefer Season 2. And I think that Season 3, it's got some crazy exciting stuff. Okay, there is some really intense drama on this season. It's heavy. This is a heavy season, and it's very entertaining when it's firing off. It's very entertaining. But there's also just some really heavy kind of darker parts to the season that maybe rubbed me a little bit the wrong way, that I hampered it a little bit for me. I think the overall story of the season isn't exactly what I would have hoped it to be, but there is some very entertaining parts. I think the first half of the season is probably better than the second half. But there definitely is still some enjoyable stuff that happens later on in the season as well. there's just a lot of like crazy antics. So if you want like a really exciting season of reality TV competition, this is definitely a good one for you. It's not like, it definitely has some aspects that weren't my favorite, but really great characters, a fantastic cast on this season, and getting to see them all interact with each other in very unique ways was super fun, and definitely some very memorable moments. Some of the most memorable moments of the year definitely come from this season. It's a very important season of TV in the year, so I definitely think it's worth watching. As for spoiler talk on this season, first of all, sorry, Big Brother fans. I did not enjoy Danielle in this season. I haven't watched Danielle's seasons of Big Brother. I'll be honest. Maybe I would like her more on those. I was on not on the Danielle side here. I was on Team Carolyn all the way. I thought that Carolyn was great on this season. I was really rooting for her, and to see them kind of like mutually destruct each other was not super fun for me. I mean, there was some fun drama that came out of it, but it was just like a little bit of a sad ending. And then Brittany gets screwed over. I really love Brittany Haynes. I have watched her on Big Brother. And so to see her almost get the win and not quite get there was so sad to me. I do think I was happy that Dylan and Gabby won. I did predict that literally from the first episode. I said, I think that Dylan and Gabby are going to win, and they did. Would have never predicted the other two winners, but, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. I do think it was fun to see 4 Faithfuls win. I'd never seen that on the Traitors. That was a lot of Faithfuls to win, so that was really fun. But there were some stuff. I think like the dynamics were like Boss and Rob versus Bob the Drag Queen were fun, but it really got heavy and heated. I think that honestly Tom Sandoval was kind of a highlight this season. I thought he was super funny. He had a really fun arc over the course of the season. I really enjoyed Wes's exit and like the whole dynamic of Wes, Derek, and Boston Rob. They were the Cage Boys. I thought was kind of a fun dynamic there. So there definitely was some good stuff. Boot orders, not perfect, but really fun turret and some really fun stuff going on there. I'm mixed on the season, but overall, I'm pretty positive on it. It's not my favorite season, but it's pretty good. And now we get to the top 5 seasons of the year. All fantastic seasons from here on out. And number 5, I have to go with Deal or No Deal Island Season 2. Oh, my beloved Deal or No Deal Island. Canceled. Gone too soon. I'm so sad. I thought Deal or No Deal Island was such a shining beacon of TV nowadays. Such a fun show. I really loved both seasons, even though it's number 5. I do think that this season was really good. This show was it was getting its legs under it. There was some great stuff on this season. I think the Deal or No Deal format, a little bit similar to what I said about Destination X, that it's just a fun time. It just smiles. You just are boogieing. You're having fun watching this show. And it's got good vibes. There definitely is like some drama and some tension here and there, which is fun. But overall, it's just like a fun show to watch. There is a group on the season that is super, super fun to watch. And I think that, listen, you might be a little bit out on the season. This is a slight spoiler, but not actual spoiler. The ending of this season is worth it. That's what I'll say. If you're not that into it, stick it out to the end, because the ending of the season is really, really good. It's just really entertaining. And it was a very entertaining show overall. Good vibes. I loved it. I'm sad to see it go, but definitely recommend watching Deal or No Deal Island Season 2. I think it's better than the first season. Just some good stuff in there. Some really great characters all around. Spoiler talk for Deal or No Deal Island Season 2. Listen, that finale, come on now. It's the craziest episode of TV of the year. I think it's the best episode of TV of the year, bar none. So insane. David Jennett is a psychopath. Just an insane ending. Like, basically the finale of Dondi is like not supposed to be that exciting. Like, you already know who won, so it's kind of just like a normal episode of Deal or No Deal. But then this is like the best episode of Deal or No Deal of all time. It was so exciting. It was so intense. I loved the family. What a fantastic alliance. David and Parvati's dynamic was like electric. Like, there was like Cupid was on that island, man. It was insane to see their dynamic. I mean, as a fan of both of them on their respective seasons of Survivor, that was just like mind-blowing to see their dynamic. And I really like Dixon as well, brought in there as the son. That was just like a super fun dynamic. I love that aspect of the season. And I think the cast is pretty good. I really think every character on the season was pretty memorable, and that's pretty impressive. I mean, I think that pretty much everyone on the season had their moments. From the first boot, Luke, that was super entertaining. One of the best first boots I've seen in recent memory. Sydney, the second boot, also super entertaining. All the way until the people in the finale. You have some really exciting stuff across the board. So yeah, I just really recommend this season. I think it was super fun. If you watched it, I think you probably agree. It was special. Us Dondi fans, we gotta stick together, okay? Great show. Bring it back. Number 4 on my list of reality shows of the year is Australian Survivor Brains v Brawn 2. I think this season is a little bit underrated, honestly. I really enjoyed this season. I think it's a really strong cast, a lot of very memorable characters scattered throughout from the early beginnings of the season to the very end. There are some great characters here. I think there is some absolutely fantastic narrative arcs that were super compelling. There were some things that happened that I can't believe that this story is still going on, that there's still like compelling things coming out of these elements of this season. It gets a little bit predictable. I mean, Australian Survivor is very long of a season, so you're going to have your kind of predictable moments, but I think it's one of the better seasons of Australian Survivor, in my opinion, and one of the better seasons of 2025. I highly recommend, and if you want some good Survivor with an all newbie cast in 2025, this is the season that I would recommend. Now, for spoiler talk for this season, I loved Miles. Okay, I love Miles so much. I thought he was fantastic. Just an absolute delight to watch on the show. I was so excited by his win. What a story. I think it's one of the best stories of really any Survivor winner I've watched. What a compelling narrative of the jungle rat going from the bottom to the top, to the bottom, to the top. He was all over the place. He was bit bopping. He was zigging and zagging. He had like 8 different advantages. Like that moment where he steals Kristen's idol and idles out PD by playing it on Pauly when everyone was voting for Pauly. That was crazy. He got Pauly to the jury stage. He formed a new ally. What a fun move. Just super exciting to watch Miles win. Miles, I love you, man. If you're watching this, come on the show sometime. I would love to talk to you because, man, Miles was my winner pick from before the season. He won me the draft. When he won my draft I do with my friends, I had him on my team. So just an absolute delightful win for me. I loved Kalen. I thought he seemed like a super fun guy. I really liked AJ as well. What a strategist. You could say, I think like Miles was an amazing winner and AJ was robbed at the same time. I think that he really is one of the most impressive players of Australian Survivor, at least. Just really ran that show in a really impressive way. Always knew what he was doing. The hostage strategy was such a fun, unique attempt at doing something different with the format of the show. The Coven was super fun. They had some super fun dynamics. I love the graduates. Now, obviously, the Brawn tribe was a little bit lacking. We didn't really get to see a lot of them. And, there wasn't a whole lot to grab onto, I guess, with a lot of the Brawn tribe members. But Paulie and Noonan had some really great stuff in the pre-merge that I thought was super fun. So there was some stuff there, but really the Brains tribe is where it's at, where like every member of the Brains tribe was a hitter. There were so many good characters on that tribe. I think that the episode where Allie gets voted out and Mad Max, the episode where JLP calls Max Mad Max, and it's like that whole ordeal. That's like one of my favorite episodes of the year, really one of my favorite episodes of Survivor. I thought it was just a really solid episode where we got to hear from every single person involved, and there's just a really interesting, intricate strategies going on there. Yeah, I think it's a good season. It's not the best season ever, but it's pretty good. I think it's a really solid season. It's underrated. I really enjoyed it. I would love to hear some other positivity maybe about the season. Or if you don't like the season, maybe explain to me why, because I thought it was just really good. Coming in, spoiler-free talk, at number 3 on my list is The Challenge 41 Vets and New Threats. Now, I am new to The Challenge. I know a little bit about the history. I know some of the major characters. But this was actually the first and currently only season of The Challenge that I've ever watched. And it really impressed me. The consensus I saw online was that this was one of the best seasons in a while of the show. And so I'm glad that I tuned in now because I thought it was really fun. Now, it is very long. The Challenge is, very long seasons. But it was pretty exciting throughout. There were some really fun dynamics. I think that the new threats of it were all really great picks. There were some really fantastic new threats, both of the people that I knew. Obviously, I came into this knowing the people from Survivor and Big Brother, so I was really excited to watch them. But even a lot of people that I wasn't familiar with prior to the season, I really, really enjoyed. I think the vets were a little bit rougher, didn't hold up their own maybe as much on this season, but there were some really fun stuff there too. I think the boot order overall is pretty good. I mean, nothing's ever perfect, but I would say I was pretty happy with the overall boot order. I don't have a whole lot to complain about majorly. There were some really fun dynamics. I think there were some really fun twists. The whole stake a claim thing was super fun. I think they're constantly kind of shifting every week for a while of different partners was a really fun dynamic. Always pairing up a vet with a new threat really made just an interesting and fun dynamic to the show. Yeah, I highly recommend it. If you never watched The Challenge, I'd go check it out. I never watched it, and I really, really liked it. There was more strategy than I expected. I think there's some really fun strategy going on this season and some really impressive performances. Spoiler talk for Vets and New Threats. Yeah, super fun. I loved the final teams. I thought it was really well-deserved final 4 teams. I'm really glad we got a lot of content out of them. I was rooting for Michaela and Cedric and also Turbo and Sydney in the finale. I was very sad to see both of them lose, but I think Jeremy and Olivia's win was just so well deserved. I mean, they really dominated individually throughout the season, and to see them come from behind in such an epic way in the finale, I can't really scoff at it too much. It was a really exciting ending to the season. I also think that Jeremy staking the claim on Olivia was the best part of the season. What a fun moment. Really, really enjoyed that. Loved a lot of the teams. I loved a lot of people that I knew and a lot of people I didn't know. Honestly, I don't have a whole lot more to say other than that in the spoilers section I didn't already say in the non-spoilers. There was just so much to happen in this season that there's just too much to really try to go over right now. But yeah, I just highly recommend it. Good season. Coming in at number 2, the runner-up silver medal on my list of my favorite shows of the year. Maybe a little bit surprising. It is Australian Survivor, Australia versus the World. Now, this season is very good. I think that everyone pretty much decided before this season happened that it was going to be great. And then when it happened, it was great. And there were aspects to it that were great. I do think there were aspects to it that did let me down a little bit, which I'll get into more maybe in the spoiler section. I also covered this season Edgic-wise on my channel. You can go check those out, those videos. But overall, I still think it's pretty good. It's just really epic. It's a kind of a bite-sized, rapid, epic season where you get to see some of the biggest legends of Survivor from across the globe come together in an ultimate clash. It was just awesome to get to see these people share the screen together. And there were some very fun, memorable moments on here. But I do think that there were aspects of it that just let me down enough that it didn't feel right to put in my number one spot. I think it's a little bit overrated, but even while being overrated, it's still just so bombastic and legendary that, I can't put it too low on the list. As for spoiler talk for Australia versus the world, loved Parvati winning, of course. I mean, Parvati, she's the GOAT. I've always said I thought that she was the best Survivor player ever, and I think she's proved that. I think that it's pretty hard to argue that now. She did a great job on the season, but it was very obvious. The edit was so obvious that she was going to win. It was so heavy-handed. Really kind of, it disappointed me a little bit. I mean, it's to be expected with Australian Survivor, but it was still just like a little bit much in a season with so many legends to have the edit so one-sided. It was like, I mean, it's not like these other people are uninteresting. They're all legends. So I wish it was a little bit more evenly distributed in that way. I was sad to lose some of the people in the pre-merge, like George and Tony. I think like the best episodes of the season are the first few episodes. And then I just think it kind of slowly gets worse and worse and worse to the point where like the couple of episodes right before the finale, I thought really were not that great. It was just felt kind of like a slow march to an obvious ending. And watching like some of my favorite players of all time, like Luke, who's probably my favorite Survivor player ever, just kind of be an idiot and bring Parvati to the end. I was like, Luke, no, it was so sad. Like, I was happy for Parvati, but I was so sad that Luke was just like playing nonsense. I felt like this was just a clear steamroll with a bunch of people just kind of messing up and letting Parvati win when she's like the biggest threat there. So in some ways that was very fun, but it did get a little bit sluggish to me at the end, even though it was a pretty short season. Because the season was so short, you got to pack in a little bit more of a punch into every single episode, and I don't think it did that. It is really good, but not enough to be my number one spot. And now, it is time for my number one favorite season of reality TV competition of 2025. And the gold medal for what I, North, think is the best season of the year goes to Big Brother 27. Listen, I love this season. I thought it was so much fun. I'm not like the biggest Big Brother fan. I like Big Brother, but it's not my favorite show. But I thought this season was fantastic. As far as Big Brother goes, this season was so exciting for being, this kind of long experience with 3 episodes a week, constant live feeds. Usually Big Brother can get a little bit sluggish, a little bit boring, but I feel like this season almost never let off the pedal. It was exciting and chaos non-stop throughout the whole thing. I was invested from front to back, all the way to like the very end of the season when I still had no idea what was going to happen. I think some of the best moments of TV of the year came from this season. A lot of the best moments, honestly. There was just so many great characters on this season and great moments that will live in infamy to me. I think for a season of Big Brother to jam-pack this much excitement into one season it's just a really big kudos and ordeal to do. So that is why I have to make Big Brother 27 my favorite season of the year, because as far as Big Brother goes, watching this season live was just electric. And now we get to talk a little bit of spoilers on Big Brother 27. I thought this season was it was so good. I love what I like to call like a train wreck season of reality TV, where like everybody's just playing badly. It's just chaos. You know, I love like Survivor Gabon. I love like Traitors Australia season 2. These are like seasons of shows that I love when things just go off the wall bonkers. And that's what I felt like happened this season. Just so many people making game ruining mistake after game ruining mistake. And I just thought that was so exciting and just add a lot of drama and fun to it. I've never been someone that cares that much about good gameplay. I care about entertainment. I felt like this season was so entertaining. I think especially like Ava's HOH into Rachel's HOH, those 2 weeks were so good. Like I had no idea what was going on. Zach going home was insane. Keanu's win at the Blockbuster was like, you know, leap out of my seat cheering. Like what an amazing moment. And then he followed it up the next week by Riley being the renom on Rachel's HOH, which was crazy in itself. And then the vote, which seemed impossible. Even the people that followed the live feeds thought it's pretty much impossible for Riley to go home. And then every single tiny little piece that needed to happen to send him home happened. And it was glorious. I was standing up. I was waving my hands. I was like, I couldn't believe that had happened. It is the craziest moment of the year, other than maybe Deal No Deal Island had a better moment. But it was so exciting to watch live, and I think it would still be pretty exciting to watch even on a rewatch. This was such a fun season. It was really fun to keep up with the live feeds, and all the way to the very end. I mean, the final 3. I'm literally on the last day of feeds, and I'm still like, I don't know what the heck is going to happen tonight. Any of these 3 people could reasonably win in different scenarios if they're sitting next to different people, if they give different pitches. Anything was on the table, and it was amazing. Yes, we had the hamster wheel week. That was pretty disappointing. I was very sad to see Rachel go, and that week was kind of the one low point in the season, but the season picked back up with some great storylines after that point. You know, we went from the frenemies to the quote-unquote cheat mance, although maybe we shouldn't say that anymore. But any way you spin it, there was just so many exciting dynamics. I loved Keanu. I loved Rachel. I loved Morgan. I loved Vince. I loved Will. There were so many people I really enjoyed on this season. Ashley, I thought was like the perfect winner for it. I liked Vince and Morgan more. So, you know, maybe I would have liked them winning out. They were just more who I was rooting for. But I think that Ashley was just like the funny, witty, like kind of chaotic result that this season deserved for being just such a crazy season. To see this person that was like kind of sloughed off as someone that didn't have a chance, like literally was almost the boot week 1, and everyone kind of treated like this annoying sister that a lot of people didn't really like for like the entire first half of the season. For her to be able to turn that around and turn it into a win was just so funny and so entertaining. There was so much to enjoy about this season. It was just a delight to be able to watch this year. And so that is all I have to say today. I hope you enjoyed the video from 12 to 1, all of my favorite seasons of reality TV competition shows this year. Really had a great time watching them. If you did enjoy this video, you can go check out any of my Edric videos on Survivor that I've done. I'm also going to be doing more soon for Survivor 50, so make sure to press the subscribe button and click the bell so that you are notified anytime I upload in the future. This has been super fun. I have a great time watching reality TV, and I have a great time talking about it with all of you out there. So please comment in the comments below any of your thoughts on any of these seasons or anything that I said in this video. Super fun. So that's pretty much all I've got. I've been North, and I will see you all next time. Stay frosty, y'all.